And you're right. I'm wrong. I don't know about race cars.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to Turn 4 Talks. I'm Nate. This is Pop as always. Um, we'll dive right on into Darlington, obviously. It was another fun weekend. We actually were lucky enough to attend the race, but or at least on Sunday, and we'll throw a couple good topics in there. But we'll start with the wonderful truck series, which came back after a 3 week break, and it was a decent race from the beginning and on.
Lady in Black, man, delivers. I love it.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously the race started off with the Cup regulars running it, which we've talked a little bit about, but I think that that guys coming back from the Cup series to race in these lower tier races are good for the other drivers, and it shows that when you can win and or beat them, then you might just be deserving of a Cup seat or at least one day in the future.
Yeah, it's like that whole thing. Everybody just constantly going on. People whining, "Oh, bushwhackers, wah wah wah." But you know what? It drew so much allure, man. It was good to see him up there, and you got to be awesome if you can beat one of them dudes. I give it that.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the biggest things. And spoilers, but obviously, Haim taking that win, and as I was just talking about, is we've talked even on here. I mean, it's time, and that kid is primed for a cup ride. He's so skilled, and while he's not near my favorite driver, I can't deny the talent. But to watch that last lap pass, and that's why everyone thought Ross had it in the books, and then you look over and you see this kid who just makes a move, and you go, "All right, he can do it."
Honeycutt is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the guy at all, but he's got some shoes to fill in at 11, man. I mean, it was, just to see him step into a one race deal. And
Yeah, I think Caden is skilled. He hasn't quite proven. I mean, he's had some good finishes. I mean, he was still top five in this race, and he's not a bad driver, but he hasn't quite pulled out the win yet, or really shown anything too crazy. And he's been in some winning trucks, so we'll kind of have to see how it plays out. But he's a decent driver.
he's a points getter. I mean, that's the name of the game this year is, you see it. These guys are like trying to look at the big picture and then they're also trying to win a race. But, man, those Dodgers looked awesome, man. I mean, I thought LaJoy was screaming there for a while. I was getting excited. AJ came into the picture. I mean, and then Mini Me, like young, stumble, trip, fall again, man. He's got bruised knees, I think.
I think you mentioned, but obviously we were with the Daniel Dye situation. Um, they had to have somebody fill the ride, and what better than to have somebody in house with AJ come and show up and take the truck ride over, at least for the week. And I think that's got to be such a good thing because he's the kind of driver who can help a program. He can come in and say, "This is where you guys are lacking. This is what you need," and maybe hopefully help them get up a step or two because you see the other drivers are still struggling a little.
But he's got so much experience in Xfinity. Oh, I guess you get shot for that one, O'Reilly. I see Dale Jr. do it too, so here we go. But I don't remember him that much in the trucks, so I mean, it must be a new realm for him in a way. But you're a wheelman. You're a wheelman.
Yeah, actually, good point. I can't remember if or when or ever that AJ's had it. I don't think it was his debut because I don't remember reading nothing like that. But um, yeah, it must have been a little while since I've seen him tackle the truck series. And, obviously having Corey and Haley, you had three of your five trucks or guys who've raced in the Cup series. So hopefully this puts him on the right foot and gives him some more feedback, especially with the other 750 horsepower tracks coming up for the short tracks. And obviously they'll go back to Darlington again. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yo, we didn't forget about you either, Butterbean. We know you're out there. Come on, keep digging, man. It's cool to say. But yeah, look at those Spire trucks, man. They're on fire too.
Yeah, the Spire trucks have been good. Spire's been quick in all facets this season, and whether you want to say it's the gay bar information or not, there comes a sense where they clearly keep trying to grow, and it's a slow burn, but they've improved every year, and I could see Spire in both series I mean, they're the old Kyle Busch trucks,
I was
anyways.
about,
But
yeah, good call. I was gonna say the same thing. They bought that program out, and it was a successful. So you know, well said.
yeah. Unless you had anything else to touch on the trucks, maybe we jump over to the O'Reilly series. So, as you were talking about a moment ago, it's that was some good racing too. Again, some Cup regulars in the field, and I think it really let some of the regulars of the series prove themselves.
Yeah, it was impressive, and just again, I mean, Darlington just gave us such a good show. It really did. There was some guys running up front in the beginning of that race. I mean, you just felt like Lawson was going to come to the top, and I mean, racing's racing, but
Yeah, between Larson and Bell, you kind of at the first stage you kind of said, all right, one of these guys is gonna do it, and is what am I even watching for? But the veteran and Allgaier proved through and through that he's a skilled, talented driver who finishes, and he might not be the flashiest, but obviously he was there when it was need to be.
Day had a good run. I mean, he's starting to gel a little bit. I think he's starting to learn to settle down and find out what that car gives him too. I mean, you had Ross in there too. I guess he was trying to go triple on that one, but
Yeah.
and then our boy Carson, he was doing pretty good in that one car, man. JRM, man, they're looking pretty stellar.
You bring a good point with Day though is I think, and we mentioned this last week, and I always say that kind of thing, but he since the talking to has really started to build some racecraft. I chalk it up to a young driver who knows he's fast and knows he's in fast cars, and was just getting anxious and trying to get up there and make any move he can because he feels the pressure. And then once he was pretty much told like, hey, slow it down a little, take your time. If you don't win, it's okay. Like you said, he's kind of been way more consistent. Hasn't been a storyline. Hasn't been bothering people or causing wrecks. I give him a lot of credit from the turnaround because the first few weeks, especially, we were sitting here about to put his head on a stake, saying go back to dirt. I think he's starting to prove me wrong and put a sock in my mouth at that rate.
Yeah, a name we really haven't been mentioned this year, but you start watching and you're looking at the finishing orders is Parker Resloff, man, in that 99. He's just been solid, man. I mean, I know they have the Childress Association, but he looks like he's gonna win one this year. I think he's gonna pop.
He's the real deal. I mean, he's not a flashy name. He's not a flashy talent per se in the sense of, a Corey Day or I mean, yeah, Corey Day or Corey Heim, etc. But I think his consistency shows through and through. Like you said, he's points his way up there. He's been running so well. I mean, he's good at all disciplines of the track, and not to knock the team, but he's not in a plus tier car either. I mean, I'd only imagine what he could do in that Gibbs 19 or in a junior motorsports car because it starts to make you think.
Yeah, I just want to put him out there to watch him because caught my eye. The last couple of races, just going back. We get that shiny coin out there watching all those other cars up front, but he's that one piece of the puzzle that I keep seeing. So
Yeah. Speaking of interesting prospects, while we're on the topic, and there's a little more preview, but they announced Jake Finch, James Finch, as in Finch Motorsports. His son's going to run 5 races in the 9 car for Junior Motorsports, which adds to the headache of the number swapping because you wonder, like, if you had 5 races to give some point, well, why is Raja and or Quapple not in a junior motorsports car, and they might be those weekends. I have to go back and look at their personal schedules, but I think that'll be interesting. He's had a few good runs and couple good runs in ARCA, and it's always kind of fun to see a legacy name kind of come back because that's a motorsports name that's synonymous, especially with short track racing.
yeah, you got I love Junior's spirit of pulling these guys and throwing them in the seats. Um, You know, you got someone running in Martinsville in that 9 car that, you know, he gave a chance to too. So that's gonna be awesome to see. But, you know, that you look at people in the past that, you know, use that as a stepping platform as well. So
Yeah, I mean, and in the sense of when you're in one of those A-tier cars, if you can prove yourself, then you have a better shot of moving forward. And that's why, in a sense, that Retzlaff, not to double back, but he's been getting a little talk online, but it's not like he's, like I said, anything too crazy right now because he's sitting in a mid-tier car and it's good for him, but it's, yeah.
I was like pre-spending that money and I run the JGR to get, you know, we all seen him in the modifieds and loved him, you know, racing Bonsignor. But you know what? He proved himself when he got in there behind the wheel. You know, definitely a different medium to what he was driving, and you know, and you see it today too. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
God
excuse me.
bless you, my friend.
Oh, you pay. Anyways, but yeah. Besides that, the Xfinity Series race kind of quiet on the most senses. There wasn't anything too egregious or crazy that stuck out. So
2 finishes from the trucks to that you just didn't see coming. I mean, you really didn't. And fun to watch. Keep watching it because it's only going to get better this year.
speaking of things that weren't too crazy, was a quiet, almost caution-free Cup Day, which is rare. You'd expect a little bit more drama from Darlington. So
Man, you fans like ordering Chinese food out there, man. You're like, you know, you want the shrimp, and you can get it 5 different ways. You wanted good close racing. You wanted to see guys, and then I just don't get it. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was old Darlington esque, as I would say, but I mean, being there was wow. What a great day. What a great crowd. Going NASCAR.
you have a good point too. Is I mean, you have to pick a side of the fence to stand on. Is do you want caution-free races or do you want to see excuse me again, or do you want to see late race cautions and continuous restarts and nonstop kind of fumbling through? It's going to be one or the other, and in my opinion, I take the caution-free racing all day. When they happen, it's natural. Think stupid things like the 43 going around. I mean,
Yeah, it reminded me of the old Tony Stewart. Here, kitty, kitty, reeling them in. I mean,
race car, but you get to the bumper of that car in front of you, makes it.
You guys just hear what I heard? Stewart going, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. I'll tell you what, he's reeling them in right now. He feels. Look at it.
You know, I know, quote Blaney, I think it was, I'll let you go. I'll see you in, 20 laps, and it definitely, people were playing strategy with fuel, tires. It was old racing at its best.
yeah, and that Blaney quote really was something that stuck out because he said between the horsepower and the tires is one of the most racy. I mean, that's the thing is we've had these for years now, these races where it just kind of seemed like a parade lap in a sense, and to be able to have this movement and the shuffling in the field and comers and goers and I mean it's peak racing. It's good. I mean, how many times and we watched it with like maybe Chase for example. He wasn't great on the short runs, but he worked his way through and maybe he stayed out a little too long on the third stage or the final stage to and it ended up costing him. But early in the race, that staying out move really paid off because he had a long run car.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, I go into this other thing, okay? Reddick won that, man, and you saw what he battled to get there, and it was crazy to see. I mean, from qualifying, he was on, but you start banging your head against the wall. People like, cheating, cheating, cheating. Like, people weren't saying that stuff when Bell knocked 3 down in a row last year. Sure. If NASCAR's going to catch him, they're going to catch him. It's frustrating to hear and people talk about it, but we're seeing some history there, but maybe people will catch him.
And I mean, I'll take that a step further. Is the old motto: if you ain't cheating, you ain't racing, and you hell is sure as hell ain't winning. And I don't necessarily encourage somebody to be blatantly cheating, but I mean, you look back and the dominance and the history in NASCAR, and I mean, your Smokey Unix or even Chad Knaus, if you want to go that far
Gary Nelson.
recently. Yeah, people who were willing to bend the gray areas and find something or subtle. And I mean, if NASCAR hasn't found anything in post race tech, if they are cheating, it's clearly something clever as hell. So you give them credit there.
But, again, it's Reddick rising to the top. I mean, Bubba's had fast cars, but he hasn't done it. And, just to say, Front Row Motorsports was in that lawsuit too. And, what are they winning back of the markers? But great paint schemes on them this weekend. Gotta love that, that's a next subject though. If I'm jumping into it, you know, you do away with the you do away with the throwback weekend, and then they had this whole alumni weekend, which there was no promotion on that. Like, I didn't hear nothing about that. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody knew nothing. You showed up at the track. It was all over TV. It was awesome. Don't get me wrong. But you think the PR would have worked a little bit more with that, but gotta love it.
And I don't mind NASCAR taking a step back and having this forced throwback weekend. I mean, teams still did it, but you kind of want to keep the iron or the coals hot on the fire. And sometimes when it starts to cool off a little, you take a little break, and I'm certain in a handful of years we'll see that back. But I mean, how many teams at this point have been running pretty much the same throwback 10 different ways there? So I mean, it was cool that we shifted it towards the alumni focus. It was cool to see DW in the booth. I mean, there's a Mark Martin was on the MRN broadcast. It was a really great sense of the weekend, and you still felt the throwbackiness, but they kind of didn't force it down the throats, which I kind of liked this year.
Yeah, I kind of really liked it too, and I think if your sponsor wants to do it and you're gonna put it on a car, I mean, the Kozlowski RFK cars, they had a tribute, people were like, oh, look at the Woods Brothers throwback. Yo, people, that's the scheme they always run. Just calm down. But again, Front Row had the 34 with the old Elliott scheme. Well, they did both the Elliots, right? They did Elliott Sadler and they did Bill Elliott. So hey, there you go.
Yeah, and I think when it's natural and comes from the team's desires, whether you like it or not either, right? Chili's with Hocevar pretty much saying, this is what we're going to run. And fun, I don't know if you heard or anyone has heard, but Hocevar was given a quote where pretty much he said that he wanted to run a Dale Jr. Budweiser scheme because it kind of fit with the Chili's colors more. And he thought that, oh, it's the red, you can make it work. And Chili said, no, we're going to run the senior scheme. And, kudos for Chili's for saying, changing up their branding too to actually run blue and yellow when their colors are bright red and white. So, I mean,
it was clean. It was clean. It was nice and put a little pep in his throttle, man. He was running good in that race. Like, broke the toe arm link and went to the rear, and impressive Darlington style.
And you had mentioned Roush Fenway and Keselowski. And speaking of Keselowski, man, he was bad fast. It's almost heartbreaking because, he pulled a Darlington win out last year. You know how bad he wants to win, especially considering the injury he's recovering from. But it was so frustrating at one point to have gone from the three of those cars running away with the race, thinking there's no way anybody else catches them, to finishing just close. And I mean, Brad obviously admitted he didn't have the car, I guess, at the end of the day to catch Reddick, but
he's coming.
Yeah, and I think RFK's shown from the beginning that they have of the season that they're continuing to take the right steps forward and the right strides. I mean, Brad, when he bought into the team initially, said that it's not going to be an overnight thing, but you can tell the experience that he's bringing and the motivation and the confidence from Preece and Buescher.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, and then, representing for Ford. I mean, again, Penske just, Cedric was pretty good. I think Blaney passed, like, made 112 passes in that race because he was on fire. I give him props. I mean, hey, you got problems. I think that was the calmest I'd ever heard him on the radio. Just trying to give a pep talk, like, yeah, we got to do better. But Joey, man, he was just like, he said the car handled great, but it wasn't going anywhere. So but they were sliding around, they were moving. So those cars had no grip, and I don't know if you saw that on TV, but you could see them bobbling and weaving, and that put it in the driver's hands.
Yeah, I mean that's partially goes with Darlington. You gotta appreciate the extra horsepower, and you gotta appreciate the tire package that Goodyear's bringing, because this combination is actually starting to pay off for quality races, and we're really starting to get to see. And obviously, like you said, Joey had a bad day, and he's not had the greatest start to the season, but it's not like he's untalented, and so there comes a point where you start to break and wonder that, he'll catch a break later in the season. It's yeah.
I mean, anybody surprise you in that race that, like, I mean, from qualifying to actual, like, towards the end of that race that were.
Yeah, actually, but in the opposite sense is Kyle Larson. He obviously ran really well during the O'Reilly race, and he started up front towards with the rest of the Hendrick cars for the most part. But on a track where they ride the top and where loose is fast, he really wasn't as much of a factor as I was expecting. I mean, he didn't have a bad day, all things considered, but he wasn't there when you expected him to be in that final little grouping of finishing order.
Well, you can say it about Denny too, doing Denny Hamlin things. When he's not hammered down, he's banging into people and knocking them into the wall and damaging himself. I mean, he had a fast car a couple times. He had a couple of good runs. You seen him come up to the field. I mean, between him, Jones, and he got his teammate in the wall at the same time, which, well, sorry, not his team, but his driver there in the 35 kind of banged in the wall as well with that mess up. But yeah, Lawson, that was shocking to me, and it happened so at the end of the race he had no recovery. I mean, the Hendrick cars. I know Chase. Chase was doing Chase things. I know they tried some long run strategy, but no cautions, man. That hurt, but still hang on to fifth in points with a 15th place finish and scored a few points here and there. So I mean,
The stage points really helped him specifically. I mean, and that goes kind of into the what we've been talking about with this change in the point system and how things matter. I mean, most of us, me admittingly, the stages have been pretty much a write off. Like, all right, whatever, the stage one's done, stage two's done. You don't really care, especially in the or the playoff format, because it was just all right. You're gonna get an extra point here, but it's really making a difference. I mean, you're seeing guys like Chase or Brad who are working for these stage points, and it's keeping them up there and giving them a chance to fight. I really think that a stage finish or two is going to be probably the difference between whoever gets booted at the end of the cut line at the end of the year.
As Corey LaJoy says, stacking pennies, man. You gotta knock it one by one. There's no doubt about it.
Anything else, anyone or anything else stuck out to you over the weekend, or was that where we're at?
Uh, you know, it's amazing with the horsepower and the tires. I think it wasn't really talked about. I think they had so much hype in the race to the fans that they were gonna come and see the craziest, biggest show. But I think a lot of people were let down by it. But I guess the people out there just want to see wrecks and stuff, and I guess that's what they pictured. It's going to be wild. The cars are going to be loose and out of control and wrecking, and those cars were loose and out of control. So just depends how you saw it and what you wanted to see. But yeah, I think that's kind of what my take's at on that one.
Yeah, and I mean, with that said, my final thoughts on the weekend were that it was a good race. I mean, it was interesting, and we're clearly at the stage of not being excited that Reddick's winning at this point, unless you're a fan, because we do like to see a little parity. But all in all, they might have oversold it a little, but I don't think they genuinely did. I think it performed as a solid race from what everyone could have expected, and I'm not sure what you want. I mean, I'm curious if you want to leave it in the comments, but I'm not sure what else you could ask for from the weekend.
Yeah, we did 9 hours of driving to get there and to get home, and it was worth every penny. You fans out there, go to Darlington. You got to get out there and check her out. She's awesome. No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess with that said, man, we love you. Hey, thanks for checking us out, and make sure you smash like, subscribe. Check us out on our social media, Facebook, Twitter. We're going to get some updates out there. Send us some comments, questions. Nothing too crazy, but we love you guys, man. Thanks so much.
Until next time, take care.
They've done nothing wrong, and I will not tolerate it.